Good evening. Welcome to Love Talk. How many of you know people who are well-adjusted mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, who have a balance in their life? And when you're with this person, you feel like, wow, this is a force to be dealt with, and yet there's kindness and compassion and power, wisdom present. I know I can count the number of people that I know like that in my personal life on maybe one hand. You know, there's a few people, and I have sought out their company and made it my business to become their friend, their student, do whatever it takes to absorb as much of that learning that I could. And that kind of learning isn't something that you get from taking a lot of notes. There's not something that's like 10 steps to being a wise, happy, healthy human being. And if there is, and you follow them exactly, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be a healthy, happy, wise human being. It means that you will follow those steps, and maybe eventually you will develop your own wisdom and your own happiness and your own health and well-being. There are certain types of learning that you only can absorb. You can't memorize. You can take all the notes that you want. And I know what I'm talking about because I have participated in over 250,000 hours of seminars, workshops, intensives. I can say that I've spent thousands of hours, well over $1 million, in training myself and developing myself, and still I'm committed to spending the rest of my life searching out, being with people who are demonstrating and being of a higher nature, a higher vibration. I want to share with you today some of the things that I have absorbed through some of my training and development over the years. And human beings, who you are and who I am, have a unique quality, and that quality is that we are not only aware, but we are aware of ourselves being aware. So we have this unique quality of being not only sentient, which means cognizant or aware, but we are aware of ourselves being aware. That's a unique quality if you look at it, because you might want to ask yourself, who's the one being aware of all that? That is the most profound question when you truly take it in, ponder it. There's, by the way, no real right answer to that. But I will submit to you that the one that you are looking for when you say, I'm searching for myself, or I'm searching for my purpose in life, or I am searching God, or I am searching truth, the one speaking I, the one that is saying I am, has never for a second been away from you. It is the one with which you live and breathe, and it is closer to you than your own skin and your own breath. So I would say to you that what you are seeking is what you are seeking with. What you're looking for is what you're looking with. It's the one who's looking. So many people have written to me and asked me if I would speak about God, if I would speak about spirituality and God on this television show. And for a number of years, I have entered into those conversations in the course of coaching people. And it's not that I don't want to speak about God or spirituality. In fact, there's nothing I would rather speak about. I've avoided the subject on this show due to all of the various religious and philosophical points of view that are so diverse. It is such a loaded subject that I've chosen to avoid the subjects simply because I didn't want to offend anybody in sharing with them my truth. But there's a number of people that are already calling, so I must have woken somebody up. So let's go ahead and take some calls. Hello, this is Gregory. You are live on the air with Love Talk.
Hi. I want to ask you if you can give us some tips about self-confidence.
What would you like to know about self-confidence? How about you ask me a question about yourself? Because that's going to be more personal.
How to gain self-confidence?
How can you gain self-confidence?
Uh-huh.
How old are you?
24.
Okay. And how is it that you know that you don't have self-confidence? How does that show up, in other words? If you had self-confidence, how would your life look different than it is right now?
I don't know.
Well, in other words, if I had a magic wand and I went bing and now you have self-confidence, how would you know?
Much more like an individual, much more self-satisfied.
And how would you know you're satisfied?
I'm such a perfectionist person, so
Well, perfectionists are never satisfied.
that's true.
By definition, you could never be satisfied if you're a perfectionist because the world is already perfect. So you would have to go around looking for something imperfect in order to be a perfectionist.
Right.
To be a perfectionist is to be dissatisfied. So how would you know that you're confident, though? What would you do then that you don't do now? And I'm assuming, since you're asking the question, that you think, or at least you view yourself as being not self-confident. Is that true?
Not really.
Oh, you are confident then?
Maybe. The reason that I'm asking this question is because I want to boost my relationships. Like in all of the books and anywhere that I look into, they consider self-confidence the key, like, for relationships and everything.
Okay. Back to the question. See, it takes a certain amount of self-confidence to even call on the phone and ask that question. Would you agree?
You don't see my face.
Yeah, well, I don't see your face, but nonetheless, there's probably 1,000 people watching. Out of all the people watching, I bet you there's about 1,000 of them that have this self-confidence question, but you're the one that called and asked it, you see? That sets you apart.
Okay, thank you.
That took something to do that. And see, I have it that we are what we pretend to be, because if we weren't, we couldn't pretend it. Now, I know that sounds kind of convoluted, but you can't pretend to be something that you aren't already inside. Otherwise, you wouldn't even know what that looks like, you see?
You can't fake it.
Well, you can fake it, and there's an old saying, there's an old saying called fake it till you make it, right?
Right.
While that sounds kind of funny, I think it's a good idea. In other words, the reason I keep asking you, and I'm going to keep asking you, how would you know if you were confident? You would need to know what confidence looks like.
Sometimes I am confident, sometimes I'm not.
So, okay, great. So when you're confident, what does that look like? Like, how would you know? Yeah, like that's very confident.
I don't care about anything. I'm like happy inside.
Happy inside, yes. When I'm confident, I know exactly what that feels like. I know how I stand differently. I know how I speak differently.
I speak differently, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so how does a confident person stand?
Like straight.
Right?
A confident person.
So a confident person doesn't slump over, right?
Right.
So there's a physicality to confidence. How does confidence look? How would you know physically what it looks like? Would your shoulders be back? Would your head be tall?
Body expression.
Would you have like an open expression on your face or something like that?
Right, right.
And that has a certain feel about it, doesn't it?
It does.
And then if you were to say something to yourself when you were confident, what's something you might say to yourself?
I'm perfect.
I'm perfect. Okay, I got that. If confidence had a certain look about it, how would it look?
Just perfect.
Just perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, would you dress a certain way?
Not necessarily, just a feeling.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so there's a certain feeling about confidence, and there's a certain way of being about confidence, but you know what that is, right?
I don't. That's why I called you.
But you do, because you already told me at least two things. See, here's the thing. There's nothing I can do to teach you about confidence if you don't know what confidence is.
I do know what it is.
Okay, great. So it is. I can tell you that confidence is a state of mind, and when I say a state, I mean it arrives simultaneously. It's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, and it's spiritual. Okay, there's a certain look and feel about it, and you know what that is, right? If you saw somebody that was confident, you would know, right? How do you know what it is if you don't know what it is?
I would know. That's true.
If you saw a confident person walk in the room, how would you know they were confident?
If they walk into the room, I wouldn't know. But if I start talking to them, I would notice.
Okay, so they would have a certain way of talking, yes?
Right.
Okay, so how would you distinguish that from somebody who's not confident? How would you know the difference?
For example, not giving me eye contact, playing like with the hands or playing with something.
That would be the not confident person.
Right.
And the confident person would what? Look you in the eye. They would speak. Would they speak?
Smile.
Would they speak really quiet like this and keep their head down?
Right.
Would they?
Right.
No, that would be.
Really quiet, but like.
I think that they would speak straight and that they would have their head straight. They wouldn't necessarily be tilted like this. Right? I think that their chest would be open. It wouldn't be drawn in like this. I think that their back would be straight.
Right.
That it wouldn't be all like twisted or something like that. So there's physical aspects to being confident, and there's an emotional aspect too. If you challenge a confident person, like if they say something and you go, no, I don't believe that, does a confident person shrink away and go, oh, okay, whatever?
Doesn't.
No, a confident person stands up for their beliefs, right?
Right.
So they would assert their belief and they would back it up with evidence, right? They would say, this is why I believe that, and they would be able to discuss it. So and they wouldn't shrink away just because somebody disagreed with them.
Right.
Okay, so you know what the whole point of this, rather than just giving you some 5 tips on how to be more confident, which you will forget, okay? You can write them down, but you know, it won't make any difference, I promise you. Because you already know the 5 things, and they didn't make a difference.
Are they?
Right? I don't know. I could make up 5. I could make up 10 probably right now, but that's not how I teach. How I teach is for you is to reveal, to peel away the layers, to reveal what you already know. It's one thing if I tell you what it's like to be confident and teach you 5 confidence tips, right? That's called deductive learning. Inductive learning is where I help you to realize that you've known all along what confidence is, and that in fact, because you know what confidence is, you're in fact confident.
Right.
So which would you rather do? Learn 5 tips about how to become confident? Which would mean that you would... Let me ask you this question. Listen very carefully to what I'm about to say.
I'm listening.
Okay. What do you have to pretend in order to believe that you're not confident? What do you have to pretend in order to believe that you're not confident?
I'm miserable.
Huh?
Pretending miserable.
Yeah, you'd have to pretend that you were miserable. What else?
Not smart enough.
Yeah. What do you have to pretend in order to believe that you're not confident?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, there's not a proper answer to that. So the importance of that question is the question itself and in pondering the question. Whatever answer you come up with is kind of beside the point. The important point of asking that question is for you to begin to uncover or to begin to look into yourself and see that in fact you have to pretend to be not confident.
Really?
Yeah. You're pretending.
Okay.
That in fact you're a very powerful person and maybe you really care about people, so you care about their opinion of you, but there's a part of you that knows who you are and what you're about. Even if you don't know all of the answers to everything, you're confident enough to explore it and discover it. And so what if people don't like you or understand you or think you're smart or brilliant or whatever? So what? Now, that right came from a place of recognition in you. Can you see that?
Right.
It's because you recognized something in what I said. Not because it's the truth, but because it's your truth. Right? It's not like my truth that I laid on you. You recognized it. I just kind of pointed out something that you already knew, but it was kind of hidden from your view.
Right, right.
So my point is that you are confident, and you already know how to be confident. You know how confident stands. You know how confident talks. You know how confident dresses. You know how confident interacts with people. You know it because you can recognize it in another. That means it has to be in you or else you couldn't even recognize it. Do you see?
I can recognize it, but I cannot pretend it.
Yes, you can. I'm going to disagree with you here. You certainly could. If I was going to give you an Academy Award or, you know, $100,000 or something, if you could, for 5 minutes, play the most confident person in the world, I bet you'd figure out a way to do it.
I doubt it.
Really? So from what part of you did that answer come?
A part of me. I might mess it up.
You want to mess it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That's more interesting, is to notice that there's a part of you that already knows all the answers, and then there's another part of you that likes to pretend that you don't know anything and help me out and teach me and show me how. Right?
Right.
So there's 2 parts of you that are sort of conflicted with each other. Can you see that?
Right, right.
Now, if I were to speak to the confident part of you, I would say, what is it, the highest purpose that you have in this person's life? And what do you think that part of you would say to me?
The confident one.
The confident one. What's the purpose of being confident? What purpose would that serve?
To do more, achieve more.
To do more, to achieve more, and for what higher purpose?
Right.
Why would you want to achieve more and do more? So as to what?
Because I want to do some accomplishments in my life.
So as to what? Yeah. And what would you do now that you've done all these accomplishments? What purpose would that serve?
Grow, improve myself.
To grow, improve yourself so as to what?
Be a better person.
Be a better person. Great. And if you were a better person, what purpose would that serve? What higher purpose is that?
Okay, personally, I think if I'll be a better person, I can be a better mom, I can have better children.
And if you were a better mom and better children, would that make the world a better place? Would you be happier?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And would that serve humanity in some way?
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. So the higher purpose of being confident would be to what?
Serve humanity.
Absolutely. Now let's talk to this part of you that likes to pretend that she's not confident. What's her purpose?
I don't know.
If I ask that part of you, what's the purpose of pretending to be shy and not confident? What does that? It serves a purpose. What purpose does it serve?
Sometimes I'm shy. I don't know, because simultaneously I think I can get more attention.
Exactly. And if you get more attention, what purpose does that serve?
Getting more attention, I don't know.
Well, if you got more attention and you were shy, that's a pretty good deal.
Continuous thing. Okay, being
Yeah.
more shy, getting more attention, more and more, you know?
What purpose does that serve, though? It serves a purpose, and it's quite all right. What's the purpose that it
Kind
serves?
of like self-fulfillment,
Self-fulfillment, so as to what?
boost like self-confidence.
Boost your self-confidence. Okay, self-fulfillment, but it's not really fulfillment, is it? It's kind of,
False self-fulfillment.
yeah, so
That's
it's
true.
more like a pretend fulfillment. What else could you call that? What purpose would that serve? Well, do you get to avoid anything?
Get to that point that I avoid anything.
Do you get to accomplish something by getting that attention and having that?
Sometimes I might.
Yeah, so what purpose does that serve? What's its higher purpose?
What is the higher purpose? I don't know.
I'm going to say that is it in the area of having you feel safer, more protected, more happy in some way?
Yeah, more secure. That's
More
true,
secure,
kind
more
of.
happy. And if you were more secure and more happy and more,
I'm not more happy, more secure.
then that's great, right? That's a good thing. What purpose would that serve if you were happier and more secure?
I have a peace of mind.
And if you had a peace of mind, what purpose would that serve?
Having a peace of mind, I'm like very free.
And if you're free, would that make the world a better place? Would that serve humanity?
Sometimes.
Would that have you be a better person, a better mother?
Sometimes.
Can you see that these two parts of you that are sort of working against each other are actually working for the same thing? They're doing it in a different way?
Mm-hmm.
So this part of you that likes to pretend that it's not confident, and this other part of you that is confident and knows exactly what confidence is, are sort of working for the same thing, aren't they?
Probably.
Yeah. So would it be all right with you if they shared some resources and worked together?
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Would it be all right with you if you were like supremely confident, like very, very confident, and from time to time, if you wanted to, you could pretend to not be?
So I should suppress the other parts, right?
No, you don't have to suppress anything. That would be work. You could just work together.
How can I synchronize them to work together?
Well, you can just allow them to work together, knowing that they're working for the same higher purpose, your happiness and well-being and making the world a better place.
Right.
Isn't that kind of what you're up to anyhow?
Right.
Yeah, I think so. Most people are. Most people, not everybody, but most people are up to making the world a better place. Most people, if they look in their soul, they would say, and really look, they would see that really what they want more than anything is to leave some kind of a mark in life that their life made the world a better place.
Right.
It's a pretty safe bet that most people, at least people who watch shows like this, are interested in having a better life and making the world a better place. Otherwise, you would just change the channel and go look at something else. Because that's what this whole show is about contributing to people. It's called Love Talk, so we're going to talk about love and making the world a better place, yes? Regardless of the question that you ask, how to be more confident, I know that behind the question, there is a being that wants to make the world a better place. It's a pretty safe bet on my part.
Right.
right? I mean, I don't think you want to be more confident so that you could create mayhem and destruction and bum everybody out, right?
Can you say something?
Yeah.
I feel like people with like so much self-confidence, and it's like so annoying for me. Like, you shouldn't be having so much self-confidence. Like much more being proud.
I got it. So people with self-confidence sort of get on your nerves, don't they?
Not all of them, but like some of them that like you shouldn't have that much.
Now wonder where that conversation came in. How old were you the first time somebody told you that?
Told me what?
Told you that you shouldn't be so bold, so outspoken.
No, it wasn't. I wasn't bold. No, I wasn't like that. One of my friends, one of my coworkers, like she's like whatever. Mm-hmm. Like she has like so much self-confidence. I'm like, listen, I'm almost a doctor, and I don't have that much self-confidence. And you, who doesn't even have a bachelor and like not as qualified as I am, like you've got guts.
And so you think that she shouldn't?
I didn't tell her, but like I was like talking to myself, like I felt like I have like such a low self-confidence, like comparing to her.
Yeah, well, my one recommendation to you is stop comparing yourself to others.
Mm-hmm.
Just be who you are. Be the person that everybody would compare themselves to. Thanks for calling. I'll tell you some more about some of the things I've been wanting to teach you about honor and integrity and mastering your own state of mind. What if you could master your own state of mind such that in any circumstances at all times you had the capacity or the ability to shift your consciousness, to shift your awareness, and find yourself in a more empowered, effective state? It is the basis for all other relationships. Whether we're 50 years old or 18 years old, we're having a relationship based on our very first relationships in life, which were with our caregivers in our lives, the people who took care of us, the people who spoke to us, that held us and physically influenced our energy system. Those people will be the people who have the most impact on our future relationships. Today, I've been talking about being able to have some control over, to be able to shift, to be able to actually have some say about our relationships and our state of mind. I want to talk about the need for having honor and integrity in our lives again. For the most part, people have, this is something that has been completely lost, if you will. How we relate to the universe is pretty much how we relate to ourselves and to the people in our lives. I've been recently disturbed by, and throughout my lifetime, I've had teachers who have helped me with having honor and integrity, not only in my own life, but in the lives of the people around me. In our own lives, if you take a look, where have you learned honor and integrity? Where have you learned it? Was it taught by your parents? Was it taught in your schools? Was it taught by your government? Was it taught in your religion? I think for the most part, we have learned from very early age to pretty much lie about our relationships with each other. You know, very few children, if they break the lamp, run to their mom and say, "Mom, I broke the lamp." Most of us will hide the fact that the lamp has been broken until it's been discovered, and then they'll say, "I didn't break the lamp. I don't know what happened." From very early age, we learn to not tell the truth as a safety measure, as a way of protecting ourselves, as a way of moving away from pain and attempting to move towards pleasure. And as human beings, that's pretty much what we're always doing. We're always moving away from pain and moving towards pleasure. For the most part in our society, through our media, advertising, songs and books and movies, we're being taught all the time to go the quickest, easiest, fastest way, and that to get what we want, and never mind what it cost or what it cost others. That's their problem, kind of thing like that. So consequently, we haven't been taught honor and integrity. And it's occurred to me over the years that during the 60s, there was a Dr. Spock who put out a book about how to raise your children. And at that time, in my early lifetime, in my childhood, it was common here in the United States, or I don't know, most places in the world it still is, that if a child misbehaved, they would be spanked or scolded or physically hit in some way. Now, I don't think that you should hit kids or that you should traumatize children in any way. And there is a great deal of controversy about whether spanking children or not spanking children is the proper way to go. And that's not what this talk is about. That's not what I'm going to address today. I'm going to address the fact that without shame, there can be no honor. We live in a world of opposites, of duality. And honor arises out of a sense of shame. I'm not saying that shame is a good thing. I'm saying that it is the roots of honor. That the great things that come out of men and women, the honorable gestures come because of the possibility of shame. Now, I'm not saying people do honorable things because they don't want to be ashamed. However, if there were no shame, if we took shame away completely, then there would be no honor. There would be no consequence for being dishonorable. There would be no circumstance that would be unpleasant to experience or that would be a bad circumstance or a bad consequence of being dishonorable. Therefore, there would be no honor. There's virtually no motivation to be honorable. Honor is a distinction that lives in human beings. There's no honor amongst animals. Now, I know a lot of you will say, well, I saw a video on YouTube where one animal helped another animal. Yes, that's not honor, though. There is some kind of a natural survival instinct. I think it would be a misappropriation of the word to call that honor. Let's stay with human beings, because right now I'm experiencing in our world that it's something that is missing. That the idea of wise and honorable people almost seems like something from the past. Everybody's talking about something wise that someone said in the past, or some honorable thing that was done in the past, or we point to the past to show examples of honor in our lives, rather than the day-to-day circumstances of dealing with what needs to be dealt with, the conflicts in our lives, the conflicts in our countries, the conflicts in our families, at work, or in ourselves, to deal with them in an honorable way. What do you hear? I'm interested to hear what the audience hears when I say honor. What does it mean to you when somebody is honorable? How do you know, like I was dealing with the last caller, how do you know that something's honorable? Have you ever seen a film or read a story or been inspired by something that maybe moved you, that maybe gave you tingles or moved you to tears or inspired you to be a better person? Then perhaps that was honor. Maybe that's an expression of some kind of honor. When I'm speaking of honor, I'm talking about something that is bound up, if you will, with several other words that people have left open to interpretation. I would like to say that I don't think that honor could be recognized without a certain kind of compassion, that the word honor is related to the word love and duty and responsibility, knowing oneself. Now, knowing oneself, that seems like a different category of things, but knowing oneself has to do with taking the time really to find out what are the strong parts about you, what are the parts where you're weak and that you want to work on, and what are the parts where you tend to do less than you know is wanted and needed, or to hold back your generosity. So could be said that to be honorable is to be generous. To be honorable is to have compassion. To be honorable is to have a sort of selfless service. By selfless service, I mean we're all serving someone for some reason. You know, for the most part, if you go to work, you're serving your boss, you're doing that for a paycheck, which I recommend that you do, and the bigger the paycheck, the better. There are things that you may do in your own life where you serve others selflessly. In other words, there really is nothing in it for you. The only thing that's in that type of service is your own satisfaction in knowing that you've done the right thing. And that goes back to that other caller. We were talking about that every person has a part of them that wants to see the world be a better place because we're here. I don't just talk about the ego part of that, like, oh yeah, I made the world a better place. No, wants to make the world a better place for their own inner knowing, for their own sense of self-satisfaction and fulfillment and accomplishment. I believe that you and I have something in us that is connected to everything, connected to all other people and all other things, and that we are attempting to make that a more full experience for everyone concerned, and that we unerringly know that by making the world a better place, we're going to make life better for ourselves. Somehow we inwardly know that by making the world a better place, we are making ourselves more of who we truly are. We're developing our highest, finest, and more refined characteristics, and in doing so, finding out more and more about what it is to be truly satisfied. The more we share, the more there is to share. The more we give, the more there is to give. We each have an inner knowledge of that abundance in the universe, that there is an abundance that wants to flow through you, not be necessarily accumulated by you. I would say that if you that one should accumulate abundance and prosperity. Absolutely. You should be as wealthy, as well-financed as you could possibly be. I'm all for that. And beyond a certain fulfillment of your life and all of the comforts that you would desire to have, I think that the real purpose of abundance and wealth and well-being is so that you can become who you truly are, so that you could find out what you're capable of, and so that you don't spend your life pursuing wealth, pursuing finance, but that you spend your life sharing your wealth and sharing your finance. In other words, bringing that forward for the sake of all mankind, bringing that forward for the sake of humanity, bringing that forward so that it makes all of humanity a better place to be. For me, that's the main reason for wanting to accumulate wealth and prosperity, not so that I can have a big stack of money in the bank and go, wow, I've got a lot of money, because really my wants and needs are pretty simple compared to some, and very sophisticated compared to others. So I think what is appropriate is that each person have what is appropriate for them, not by somebody else's standard, not by your families or your religion or your culture or your society, but that you have what you accumulate in life in terms of financial well-being, so that your own life is fulfilling and satisfying, and that you have more than enough to share with others. I believe that that's a true satisfaction in life. Hello, this is Gregory. You are live on the air with Love Talk.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I call from Virginia. You talk about giving. My life has been in ringer. I had been through a lot.
Yes. So,
And pain, very happy, and give to the other people. But
Yeah.
they don't give back. Like, you let them borrow the money when they have crisis, and they just forget it.
yes. Are these family people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like foreclosure thing, and I pour the money in for them to have a house to live, and they forget about it.
Yeah. I have a personal rule about family that I will recommend to you. That is, never loan a family member money that you're not willing to lose. Do you get that?
Yeah, I got that. But they need
It's
help
a
so
well-known phenomenon that family members rarely pay back the money that they borrow from other family members. It's unusual when they do pay it back.
Oh, so just forget it.
If you've loaned money to a family member,
It's not a family member, just a friend that drowned and in the like a quicksand. They're gonna die. They're gonna commit suicide. And I helped them out. They came up. They have life struggle right now, but they don't think they would take me back. All my invest in my life is zero.
yeah, consider it your gift to the universe.
Okay.
Really, honestly, if you loan money and you need to have it back, then write a contract and get a lawyer to look it over and get it signed so that you actually have an enforceable document. Okay? That's called a business deal. All right?
But this is from
Yeah.
my heart. I
Yeah.
don't want them to get suicide and kill all the children because of financial problem.
Well, okay, but if it's from your heart, then make it be a gift from your heart and forget about it.
Okay.
Right? Don't make yourself crazy over it. However, listen, people who get in that kind of a situation where they're so broke that they're about to commit suicide or kill their kids have some other issue, and it's not money.
Uh-huh.
Do you understand?
But they went bankruptcy.
Well, yeah, but what caused that? What was the state
But
of...
the business failed.
Okay, maybe their business failed. What else? You know, in other words, all I'm pointing at is that sometimes life deals you a bad hand. It's dealt you a bad hand from time to time, yes? Did maybe you get a bad deal from time to time?
always. But I very thrifty. I very work hard, and I have it. I work just like anybody else, but I do have money left than anybody else because I'm very frugal and I'm very thrifty. And
in other words, you did what you needed to do to take care of that situation, didn't you? Yeah. Did anybody help you?
no, nobody ever helped me, but I help people.
Okay, but so that's my point. Some people do whatever it takes to handle their life, and you did that.
Right.
All right, so listen carefully. If somebody had given you money back when you were struggling to put your life together, you may or may not have learned the lessons that you needed. In other words, in doing all of that hard work to put your life together, you changed. You became somebody stronger and wiser and more careful. And so you learned something about yourself and about life, didn't you?
Yes, but I just
Well, wait,
learned that
but
I
you say
cannot-
yes, but. Why do you say yes, but? Because whatever you're going to say after the word but is going to negate the yes.
But then I learned that people that you feel sorry for,
Don't feel sorry for them.
they cannot be trusted either.
Yeah, don't feel sorry for them.
I'm
Go-
going to put it this way. Even I don't get money back, I get the merit
You get the merit.
to help with the other life.
Okay, fine. Even then, if you're doing it for that, you're ripping yourself off.
I know I did.
Yeah, you'll rip yourself off because, and it's so great that you're pointing this out. It's fantastic. Do you recall earlier I was talking about selfless service?
Right.
Selfless service is truly with no regards for yourself. Now, I don't mean be foolish and give all your money away and go broke. No. I'm talking about you give what you can afford to give, knowing that you're benefiting by giving, period. That you're not seeking to get something in return. Maybe someday somebody will help you, maybe not. Maybe there's an afterlife and they're going to give you some special crown, maybe not. Right? So much of our religions are talking about do a good thing now and later, after you're dead, you'll get some kind of reward, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's in all the religions, by the way, right? Judaism,
Oh, you know
Muslims,
what? When
Christians, they're all believing the same thing. Here's what I'm pointing out. Do what you do now because it is the right thing to do now, and because you're satisfied by doing it and that it makes the world a better place now, and then we'll see about later, okay? But if you're doing a good thing now so that later you're going to get something good, I promise you, you have already cut off the flow of the universe. The universe isn't good because it wants to get something from you. God doesn't bless you because it wants something in return. Your parents aren't loving you because they're going to have a good karma or a better life later. They love you because they love you. And so when you're going to give something to someone, share your abundance, your wisdom, your well-being, whatever gifts that you have, share that because that's the appropriate thing to do at this moment. And live now in this moment and get the satisfaction now in this moment. And then later, if something good comes, who knows? Maybe yes, maybe no. But by projecting that there's some afterlife or next incarnation or karma thing that's going to give you like some good stuff if you do a good thing now, you've already cut yourself off from that simply by believing it. I know that sounds complicated, but you're not really doing the good deed for the good deed. You're doing the good deed for yourself. It's self-serving, so it's not selfless. Do you understand me? Selfless.
I should stop helping people because
No.
I should contain myself. I help enough people.
I think you should. I think you should give 80% of your money, time, love, energy, happiness to others for the sake of doing it, because it makes a difference. I don't mean to be foolish, but that you should keep for yourself more than enough for your own financial security, your own well-being, your own happiness, and like that. People that give too much, they're never happy. They give too much. Give most of it. Give it. Give your life. Give your for the sake of mankind. Share yourself. Share your abundance. Share your wisdom. Share your time.
Only keep 20% for yourself.
That's what I'm recommending. If you really want to have a selfless existence, listen, whatever that is, 20% for yourself, I'm saying you have to find a balance for yourself. If you're only making enough money to barely get by, then obviously you don't give away $80 out of every 100. That would be stupid, okay? I'm not saying be stupid. I'm saying be generous and keep what you need for yourself and give the rest away. Give your time, give your love, give your money, give your service for the sake of giving, not because you're going to get something in the afterlife or something.
Now I start loving myself, because before I think of somebody else first, because I thought I'm will be all right. Because
then you end up being a victim. If you always think of other people first, you will end up being their victim. You got that?
I got that.
Yeah, you end up being victimized by the people that you tried to help. So give what you have to give.
I'm sorry.
For the sake of giving.
I never thought that I'd be being victimized. I thought I was help somebody drowning, and I give the hand to pull them up.
That's appropriate. But then later, they don't pay you back or do a nice thing for you, then you feel like a victim. Yeah, so then you go, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. So by wanting to get something back, you've now cut off your ability to give generously. If you don't want anything back and you just give, then you don't ever have to worry about running out of or being in a state of scarcity.
All right, I got you.
If you truly believe that there is something greater than this life and greater than yourself, then allow it to flow through you. Do you understand?
I understand, but
yeah.
Right now
If you give so that you can get something back, is there something flowing through you?
Yeah,
no,
I give.
There's not. There's you accumulating and then doling it out and wanting some back. That's different than having the abundance of the universe flow through you for no other reason than because you can. That's a totally different point of view that you won't find in your religion, because that's not a religious point of view. That is conscious, being in the moment, present way of being, in which you're cognizant that there's something greater than your own life that wants to happen through you, through your words, through your actions, through your gestures. And if you can allow that to continue to happen, it will never run out. It only increases. And you don't want anything back. You do it because you can. Then you will find that from every direction in the universe, abundance will be flowing to you, because you're a place where abundance happens, rather than somebody who's counting the beans, so to speak. You got me?
I got you. And I have been helping for the world peace. I donate to build the building for the world peace.
Awesome.
I hope that would make me feel so good about it, because I don't want anything back, but I don't want world peace. I want world peace.
Awesome.
Meditation, and I build the building to get...
Well, thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. And I know that takes a great deal of trust and love and compassion to give generously to something like that. And so beyond a heartfelt thank you from the people that can recognize it, that may be all you ever get, and that hopefully will be enough for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for calling. Thanks for watching my show.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'll be back here again next week on Love Talk.
اپلیکیشن امبریس گرو. با ساختن اکانت شخصی شما می توانید وارد پروفایل خود شده و تنظیمات آن را تغییر دهید. به تمامی رویدادها و محصولات دسترسی داشته باشید. با چند کلیک برای سمینارها و کارگاه‌ها ثبت نام کنید و یا وقت مشاوره خود را رزرو نمایید. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروث را امروز از اپ استور دانلود کنید و به خانواده جهانی امبریس گروث بپیوندید.